This comes from friend of the channel, Stuttering Craig, from Side Scrollers. And it's kind of funny because he posted the entire Assassin's Creed Shadows end credits. And he said, here it is, all 2 hours of Assassin's Creed Shadows credits. I just want to repeat that the credits are over 2 hours. So we're going to just sit here for 2 hours and watch these credits. And I'm not going to talk. I'm just kidding. But yeah, that is definitely a thing. That's like a old school Mr. Beast challenge before he blew up. Watching the Assassin's Creed Shadows credits for 2 full hours. Can you do the challenge? 2 hours. Actually, to be exact, over 2 hours. 2 hours and 6 minutes and 20 seconds. And the funniest part about this, I saw, and this was originally from Gamers Pray. So shout out to them for actually recording it and uploading it. And Craig was just borrowing it from that. But I saw this is why I wanted to talk about it a little bit more. 2.7 million views. This is ridiculous. So this post from Stuttering Craig is now up to 3.1 million views. That is disgusting. That is insane. I'm Batman says 2 hours of credit is greater than waterboarding. I would agree. You know what it is? I wonder if this is exposing the X algorithm where it's just people have it running while they talk about it like I am right now. And the algorithm is like, oh, this person really likes this video. Let's make sure we promote it to everyone out there. They're literally sitting there watching this video. Not seeing a whole lot of Japanese names there. I know, isn't that interesting? There's a lot of French names there. A lot of French names. It's curious. It's curious. So we got that Park Place says Assassin's Creed Shadows endgame credits roll for over 2 hours, raising questions about Ubisoft's bloated spending. Ubisoft's troubled launch of Assassin's Creed Shadows just took an even stranger turn. Players who have completed the game are discovering that the credit sequence runs an unprecedented 2 hours long, a detail that seems almost surreal in light of the company's current financial struggles. Now, to be fair, I remember that the credits for Concord, people were saying, I think I covered it like 4 or 5 months ago, so I don't remember exactly what it was, but I think it was, they were saying it was over an hour and 12 minutes or something. And that was kind of a misnomer because while it was very long, the person that uploaded the credit sequence put it on 0.5 speed. And I found that out from how did I find it out? Because the end credits that they had, there was another end credits that I found that didn't show the whole thing, but it showed the end part of it, and it showed the beginning of the credits rolling. And the end part was like normal speed, and then the credits rolling were like normal speed. And I was like, okay, so that's what the credits look like. And then I went to the one that was like an hour and 6 minutes, and it was exactly 0.5 speed of that. Like they slowed it down to make it last way longer and look way worse. But still, it was a video in its own right. Back when I covered that Concord, like I literally made a video on Concord's end credits being, I think, 36 minutes long or something like that, which is like, what? How do you have end credits? How do you have end credits that are 36 minutes long? And meanwhile, I'm over here looking at this. 2 hours and 6 minutes of names scrolling. Think of the amount of money just to have someone in charge of the end credit sequence, putting the pictures together, overlaying the information, making sure there are no spelling errors, making sure the scrolling is the right speed, doing everything properly, the right spacing on everything. Like, this is not like an automated thing where you just throw it into like AI and it just spits this out. Like, no, someone has to like organize all this stuff. Like, this is a lot of work and effort to make sure that they give everyone the proper credit for everything. And how much money was spent on just the dude putting the end credits together? So when I bring up this, it raises questions about bloat and bloated spending in the game industry. Yeah. To put this into perspective, The Lord of the Rings: Return of the King, famous for having one of the longest credit sequences in movie history, wraps up in under 10 minutes. Ubisoft's latest release manages to extend its credits to more than 12 times that length, offering what feels like a never-ending scroll of names, studios, departments, and corporate entities. For a AAA video game like this, it's common for credit rolls to run anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes for larger titles. I would disagree. I don't think it's anywhere from 10 to 30. I think it's like for larger titles, I might be okay with like 15 to 17 minutes. That's really pushing it. Saying 30 minutes is like double that. I'm like, no, I think it's common for like 15 to 17 minutes. 2 hours and 6 minutes, guys. 2 hours. I cannot get over that. But this takes the cake. Reports suggest that over 3,000 people 3,000 people worked on this game. What? With Ubisoft enlisting the efforts of teams from around the globe. In addition, a noteworthy portion of the credits is devoted to global diversity and inclusion personnel. A dog whistle to BlackRock and Vanguard. Hey guys, look, we even have this in our end credits. Like, this is getting beyond the point of parody right now, where like, I think 15 years ago, people would joke about like, because they were getting long, like credits were getting ridiculous. 15 years ago, people were like, oh, I bet they'll someday get over an hour long on the credits. Like, haha, yeah, I bet if they keep going down this road. Well, a move likely intended to highlight Ubisoft's corporate initiatives, but one that's fueling criticism over the publisher's priorities. Oh, here it is, a screenshot of it. Global diversity and inclusion. Maya L'Oreal, Mia Zai, Malek Tavaha, Kylie Anguo Lopez. Yikes. Normally, an exhaustive credits list might be brushed off as a quirky footnote, but in Ubisoft's case, it paints a more concerning picture. As we've covered extensively, Ubisoft is facing its worst financial crisis in recent history. They are spending like it's going out of style. This should never happen to even the most richest companies and the most successful companies. You don't spend money like a drunken sailor. You still have to make actual business choices. The decisions being made with Ubisoft almost feels like they have, if you don't use it, you lose it kind of money being coming in from Canadian government or low interest loans, or I don't even know. Like, why would you spend this kind of money unless it was a use it or lose it type situation? Company is currently carrying $1.4 billion in debt and $2.51 billion in, okay, that's net debt. In total debt, $2.5 billion. Now, there are people that postulate that the Assassin's Creed brand itself is worth upwards of a lot of money. I don't even want to throw a number out there. But having franchises like that under your belt might incidentally enable Ubisoft to take out more loans and borrow more because of the valuation of some of their IPs. But that's a very dangerous road to be going down. And if you're going to be coming out with a new Assassin's Creed game, you damn well better knock that one out of the universe. Like that ball needs to travel outside of the Earth's atmosphere. You cannot just hit a home run with it. And this, even by the way, just to be clear here, even if I do end up ultimately losing this bet against Hypnotic, the game is not a success. It's just not. This is the opposite of that. You can try to pretend, if you're Ubisoft, all day until the cows come home, that it's a success when you have 1 million players engaged or whatever the hell the verbiage they use is. But like I said before, like that's fine if it's an indie game. If it's like Belantro with one dude that made the game, hell yeah. Like, you go, bro. Knock it out. You're doing great. 3,000 people worked on the game, 2-hour-long credit scene, and over 5+ years development time, reportedly, allegedly. And a workforce, as it says here, a workforce that has ballooned to over 18,000 employees. Like, at this point, it's almost like Ubisoft took the approach of, if we keep growing, we'll become a bank and we'll be too big to fail. And we'll need to be bailed out by the Canadian government because we employ so many people. And yes, I know not all 18,000 are in Canada, but it's where one of the main hubs are. They also have a hub over in France, America. I mean, they're literally worldwide. They're huge. But damn. These figures have shareholders on edge, with calls for leadership changes growing louder and speculation mounting over whether Ubisoft will have to sell off key assets or even face bankruptcy to stay afloat. So what I postulate is going to happen is neither of these immediately. They are not going to sell off key assets. They will, I do believe, eventually go bankrupt. But in the meantime, I think they are working very hard in the background to form an alliance with Tencent and potentially other major players in the industry to utilize them to assist them in publishing games moving forward so that all of it doesn't fall on Ubisoft and they can share the blame and share the riches with the next Assassin's Creed game or whatever else they make moving forward. So if they do that, it would turn into more of like a Pokemon situation where Nintendo owned 33%. The Pokemon company owned, was it the Pokemon company or Nautilus owned 33%, and then Google owned 33%. Like, it was like one of those situations where it's like 3 different companies running this major brand and each of them getting a cut of the pie with all the earned income from it. I could see that happening to Ubisoft sooner than later. And then ultimately, when it fails, bankruptcy. But I don't see this happening immediately. I don't think they're going to go bankrupt immediately, which is why when I talk about, and this is not financial advice, by the way, but when I talk about the stock crashing today, like, I don't necessarily think it's the worst idea in the world to invest in them. If they were listed in the United States, it would be easier for me to invest in them, and it would be something that I'd consider. Not because I trust in Ubisoft's ability to dig themselves out of this hole, but I do trust in Tencent and other companies potentially at least providing enough of a boost of investor excitement, if that were to come to pass, where it would jolt the stock and probably rise upwards of 50% in a day, if not more. And that's one of those nice ones to roll the dice on type thing. But again, not financial advice. I don't know what's going to happen, but that would be my thinking on this. My track record is choppy at best. I was very wrong about Intellivision. I was very right about GameStop. So take it for what you will.